What's up, everybody? What's up? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Unstructured After Party. We're gonna be talking about the season finale of House of the Dragon. What's good, Mr. E? How are you doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing very well. Big shout out to Lewis Hamilton, even though he does not know who I am. He finished second today, which tied for his highest finish. I've been with you the whole season. Looking forward to next season, even though we got 4 more races to go. It's all good. What's going on with you, Lion?
Well, not much, being looking forward to this episode all week, all season long. And
Absolutely.
I mean, it was an interesting episode, the last one. And now we have to wait maybe a year, maybe 2 years till we get a
I hate the way
continuation
they
of
ended
the story.
it. We'll get into that.
They ended in a very shocking note. Shades of Game of Thrones season 1. An important character had to go, and they did not disappoint in this episode.
You have been voted off the island.
I don't think it was swallowed by the island in those terms. Man, what a season! I'm gonna be rewatching the season again the week, and just to really get my thoughts together. Was it better than Game of Thrones season 1? Did it live up to the hype? I mean, we had a lot of fun reviewing this show. A lot of fun. All year, probably my most excited show that I was to review was this one. What about you, Mr. E?
Well, let's see here. I definitely like The Boys. I think this tops The Boys. And what was the other show that we did?
We have Peacemaker that we did.
Peacemaker is funny, but this is way more complex and layered. So yeah, this one takes the cake.
We have Peacemaker. We did the Power shows. We did a couple of movies. And
Dexter.
No, Dexter was last year, wasn't it? Or was it this year?
I think didn't it go over?
I think it crossed over a little bit. That may have been the case. So yeah, man. But wow, what a ride! I mean,
seriously,
sad but exciting at the same time. And guys, by the way, we have a poll on the chat. Was Rhaenyra? Did she make a mistake by sending her sons out? Let us know in the poll. Let's see what everybody thinks. So far, looks fairly evenly split. So let's get into the meat of things. So the episode opens up with a shot of Lucerys hanging out in the council room, in the war room, looking at the map of Westeros, of the world, the different houses. He's touching it, and then Rhaenyra walks in, And when she walks in, he lets her know, listen, I don't want to be Lord of the Tides because he's not ready for it. And she consoles her son, let her know, I wasn't ready to be heir when I was named heir, but sometimes you just gotta push through it, and you can live up to it. What do you think
Yeah,
of that scene? foreshadowing what would happen at the end
exactly.
of the
That's exactly
episode,
what it was.
essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Foreshadowing. I mean, we all saw it, and that scene was. I don't think it was anything special. I think it was exactly that, foreshadowing. And if we know what we know now, maybe it wasn't. Maybe they weren't ready. I don't know. We'll see. What are your
Gotcha.
thoughts, Lyle?
So it was a very nice scene, a very touching moment between mother and son. And we see that Lucerys through the episode, it shows certain signs of his insecurities. He was getting beaten by
Yeah,
the sword by his brother. Even when he stood up, he's always seen unsure of himself. And he had a very big job at the end of the episode. He tried to do the best he could, but I guess he
see, I
couldn't
like your take on
live up
that.
to the
That the mother
expectation.
reassured him. That's a very good point. But yeah, I guess I was sort of looking at the fact that we knew that the king had died, and they were just about to get the news, and everything was about to change. What's up, Sharper Coder Blog? What's good, man? How's everything going, man?
This is common. I hear you. I need to watch the whole season again. The tangent had me off balance. Lots of stuff had to go over my head. You're completely true. You're completely right on that because the time jumps kind of like disorient you what's going on. Like, okay, this were babies last episode. Now they're
Mm-hmm.
grown up. They're teenagers, and it moved pretty
Yes,
fast because of time
yes,
jumps. I do
absolutely.
feel they could have. I
They
mean, if
took
they
more than
wanted
quantum
to,
leaps. Go ahead.
they could have stretched it out because I haven't read some of this information prior to the show starting. I was aware that this was gonna happen, but I
Mm-hmm.
was not expecting this to happen this season. I would say, that's something that could happen middle of next season as the show gets going. But that was the scene, that was the character that had to go to give that impact. See here. Thanks for the family tree, guys. Yo, anytime. You know what? It was hard for us to remember all the names, so
Yeah.
posting that it makes it a little easier. I also posted one about the names of the dragons that we've seen so far. If you go back and look at it, if you want to remember the name of the dragons, we also have that on the channel, our shorts. There's still gonna be a shorts video as well. Now, from that scene, we move on to the Queen Who Never Was, Rhaenys Velaryon, arriving
Uh,
at Dragonstone. And when
yes.
she arrives at Dragonstone, she comes very serious and comes very
I
bad
said it.
news.
I said it. I
Two
said it.
things. Two things
Yes.
she says. First,
Mm-hmm.
your father is dead, and Rhaenyra's absorbing this. The pregnant Rhaenyra is absorbing this information, and right before she can even process it, she goes, "And Aegon has been crowned king." Boom! A 1-2 punch that sends her into labor or into a
Yep.
miscarriage was a very tough scene. What do you
Yeah.
think of that particular scene, Mystery?
I like. I like the fact of what Damon said right after. It's like, and you had the chance to eliminate them all, and you didn't. Why? Which again, they make the reason. Here's my thought. I'm going behind the curtain into the writers' room. I think the reason why they brought this up 2 times so far is because they know that they goofed on this. They know that they had to push that situation to an unrealistic thing that would happen. She would say her grandchildren are at stake. She would set fire to them. Like let's be real, right? But if she did, there would be no more story. That's my point. And so they had to live to fight another day, so on and so forth. But in reality, if that were anybody else, they would have set fire to them, and then let's deal with the fallout afterwards. Like the realm is not going to plunge because there is nobody in power. We just insert somebody in power, and then that's it. So in that scene, I like what Damon said, and that I think that was the writers addressing it again. It's like, hey, now we have some plausible deniability, so on and so forth.
Yeah, certainly, and
What's up,
I
Patrick?
do believe that
That's right.
happened a little further down the line. So we'll get to that in a second as well. So from that we go. Damon right away he gets ready for war. Damon is like, you know what? This is what I've been. He's like he's been wanting for this to. He's been expecting this conflict to happen. He knew. He already. It's like he already knew this was gonna go down. He gets let's get ready for fighting for the war. He gathers all the councilmen. They're talking about what strategy is best, and this is when we have Daemon showing Jacaerys how to. Well, right before that, we have a scene where Rhaenyra talks to her kids, to Jacaerys and Lucerys, and she explains to them very clearly, listen, your grandfather is dead, and Aegon has been crowned. This is going to be a tough time. We got to figure these things out. The next scene shows Daemon grabbing Jacaerys to the side. I'm bringing him to he's like demonstrating how to be a leader, how to kind of discipline his soldiers or know who's gonna be following you or not, who's gonna maybe who may be someone that may not be as loyal, right? So he grabs the Kingsguard, and outside of Dragonstone, he questions them and he brings his dragon. He gives him two choices. Exactly. Listen, you can swear to us, or you can swear to your old king, to Aegon, and you're gonna have an honorable death. And I mean, that's an easy choice. What would you have chosen in that particular moment, Mystery?
Death. No, it's playing. We got a new team that we're rooting for. Courtesy of Daemon. Thank you. Yeah, there's no question I would pick Rhaenyra. No question. How about you, Lion?
I would be like, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna stay with y'all. Like, come on, man. Like, what kind of choice is that?
Exactly.
I don't think that's a very effective way to ensure someone's gonna be loyal to you. Just because, if you think about it, like they're under distress, they're gonna. I mean,
if they get a chance, they're gonna come back and
how honorable you have to be. So your honor has to be so high up there that to say, you know what, that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just gonna keep my honor and get crisped by this dragon here. No, that's not happening. Shout out to Dash Ribrock, by the way. Thank you for checking out the show. And guys, if you're checking out the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Join the conversation. We're gonna read in comments. We just love this show. We want to talk about it. We want to share this with you guys. So thank you so much for checking out our video on our channel. The next scene. We have a very rough scene in the episode, and this is Rhaenyra having a miscarriage by herself. She is struggling. She's going through something that's very tough, even in our times. That to me, that was a tough scene to watch because she's like manning up and she's just pushing. Pushing.
Yes, Dash, and that was my thought process too. Another one is like man, they got a lot of time on their hands. Yes, and that scene, just like you were saying, Lion, was grueling. But I'll give it to them. I think the point that they were trying to get across, which I think they got over very well, is the strength of Rhaenyra. She has a war and that's about to start. It has been stolen from her. She has to get her people to pledge allegiance to her, and all the while she's giving birth to a child with no assistance whatsoever. So she has to keep her head and her body intact so that she can take back the realm. And no one else can do this except for her. There's nobody, no man, and definitely no other woman in the realm can do this. So kudos to her. What are your thoughts on that, Lion?
So this scene basically shows her fortitude as a leader. She, as a mother, she knew essentially that this was not gonna go their way. She pushed the kid out, right, in a very rough manner. She didn't take help from anyone around her. She just pushed through it, and she carried the dead body. That scene when you see the baby just drop on the floor, you see the feed. Man, that's tough. And then she, as a mother, picks him up. And she's just, man, that was a rough scene for me to watch. They show a lot of character of her.
Yeah, she has so much weight on her because, again, like she carried this kid, I don't know for how many months, and it was an unsuccessful birth. And normally, a parent would be riddled with sadness and guilt, and like it would take months or years to get over. And she has to get over it immediately because there's a war that's looming, and she does. They have let me know if I'm jumping ahead, but they have the funeral, and she turns the page and goes to the next thing at hand. Like you said, Lion, incredible fortitude.
No, and you know one thing that I find curious about the show is the show is showing like, the name of the book the show is based out of is called Fire and Blood. And one recurring theme for this episode was a lot of blood and a lot of fire followed behind it. So we have that scene where she's carrying her baby that's bloody, that's blood, and then the baby ends up being burned. That's fire. So we got every time there was blood. At the same time, we also had fire right behind it. At the table, when she has start having the miscarriage, her hands are bloody, yet the table is lit on fire underneath. So we had that theme, fire and blood, throughout the whole episode. Very meaningful to what the book is about.
Here's another symbol. She finds herself in the exact same situation as her dad, where he had the unsuccessful birth, ended up slaughtering the mother. That's a different story, obviously, but he had to set fire to his kid, his son, and he couldn't do it. But who did it this time? Right? Who did it both times? Who did it both times? It was Rhaenyra. She did it both times. She's stronger than her father.
She had to be present for both of those scenes. That's correct. Yeah. And this takes us to that burial scene where everybody's gathered around. She's cremating her baby, and Sir Eric arrives. Eric is one of the Kingsguard who has stolen the crown from the Viserys' crown and brings it to Queen Rhaenyra and pledges allegiance to her.
Who's Sir Eric Lyons? Who's Sir Eric?
Sir Eric is one of the Kingsguard from the last episode that was looking for Aegon. There was one of the twins.
Yeah.
He was the one that was, you know what? Aegon should not rule. Aegon is not ready for this. This is going to be a mess. I'm going to go with the other one. And he steals the crown, makes it to Dragonstone, and bends the knee, hands the crown and to Rhaenyra, and swears his loyalty to her. Very powerful scene. This guy is probably going to be made Lord Commander or Kingsguard, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. It was a very powerful scene. The fact that everybody takes a knee and acknowledges her authority, her seat on the throne. I think she's taken aback by that, including the one who inspired her name, Rhaenys, was taken aback by it too. I think at that point she finally decided or saw that, hey, this woman might be ready for this situation. I mean, look at all that she's going through right now. She might be the rightful queen.
Do you know what I found interesting? That in that scene, Rhaenyra puts the crown on, and everyone kneels at the end. The only person that I didn't see kneeling was Rhaenys. Rhaenys stood tall because Rhaenys has said through the episode she was gonna remain neutral, and in her. If we look at her background, she should have been the one that was the ruler of Westeros. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be. So that's why she's the queen who never was, and now she's watching her niece achieve in some way what she was denied. We can say that, right? So she's watching that, and there's some sense of pride. Although I don't know if it's jealousy or pride, but to me it seems like more of an essence of pride that a woman is able to be ruler or be accepted as queen. And I think this plays into her swaying Corlys later on in the episode into helping Rhaenyra, because Corlys was about to drop the towel. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It definitely does. I mean, Rhaenyra is her name was inspired by Rhaenys, the one who should have been the queen. And look at her; she's doing what Rhaenys was denied back in the day, and so there's a sense of pride because one, she's her aunt, and two, she was sort of named after her as a piece of that, right? And like they announced later on, jumping ahead, then we're going to jump back. They had she's the first of her name, or whatever. So there's a sense of pride. Hey, that Rhaenyra has a similar name to me, or whatever. Blah blah blah. Not to mention that Rhaenys, her grandkids are a part of this too, a huge part of this. So she's got to back them up.
Yeah, I mean, so that takes us to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have the War Council meeting, where everyone is meeting and they are deciding or figuring out who are the allies, what are the troops that they're gonna have, what's gonna be the next move, and a lot of decisions are being made at this particular moment. I don't know if I have a scene for that. I don't think I do. So in this scene is where everybody's discussing. Rhaenys says, "Listen, I'm gonna stay neutral on this. It's not my war. Corlys is gonna be the one deciding on this." So she lets us to believe that, you know what, I want no part of this stuff. But let's face it, her family's involved. Even if she doesn't accept Rhaenyra's sons as her own grandkids, her granddaughters are about to marry these kids. So she's gonna get involved regardless. This is not, she has no control over this in essence. So I think that in a way she's kind of forced to be loyal to Rhaenyra. Do you think that forces her to be loyal, or do you think she should have just been able to, you know what, let me take my granddaughters and let's go to Old Town, to Hightower? What do you think?
I think yes, it does force her to be loyal. She mentions it to Corlys that no, we can't take off and retire somewhere and remain neutral because of the kids. So I definitely think that she realizes that she has a lot in the pot, so to speak. So she has to kick in. She has to fight in this battle. And the other thing is that she sees the leader in Rhaenyra. We talked about her strength, but let's talk about her intelligence, right? And we may be able to expand on this a little bit later, but I think part of the reason that sells her along with her grandkids is the fact that she sees Rhaenyra when everybody's gun ho and like, yo, let's go start this war, and kill everybody, blah blah blah. Forgive us, YouTube. And Rhaenyra is like, no, let's add some strategy. Let's see what's going on. Let's figure this out and have a plan before we run in full steam into a wall. Let's see what's going on, and that works to her favor.
Certainly, I completely agree with what you're saying there. Now, they also discuss how strong their armies are. We have a scene where they know that they're outmanned, but they outdragon the other side, the Greens. They mentioned that they have to their possession 13 dragons versus 4 dragons on the other side. They have so many dragons on Rhaenyra's side that they have dragons that don't have any dragon riders. I wonder, how are they gonna find people to ride these dragons? Is there a way to bond because based on the lore of the show, only those with Targaryen blood are able to bond with dragons. Well, we also know that Targaryens are very promiscuous. A lot of them have kids everywhere. Are we gonna see kids that are gonna be brought in? Characters that may have been bastards. Do you think this is a possibility? Because having so many dragons, that's their strength, is having that many dragons.
I mean, maybe they can get some of Aegon's kids. I know he's on the other side, but hey, he's still qualified. There's a lot of them hanging around.
Maybe Daemon has some bastards. Maybe that's the case. They may have some bastards as well.
Yeah, most likely. And I think we saw a little snippet of what he has in his back pocket. Can't wait till that comes out later on in terms of dragons. Big dragons.
He mentioned he has quite a few of them, but without the riders, I don't know, because they're wild. They call them wild dragons, I believe. That was the term they used for them. Now, and this is the scene that you made, you spoke about earlier, where Otto Hightower arrives to Dragonstone, and this is a callback to episode 2, I believe, where
Rhaenyra
Daemon has secluded to Dragonstone, stolen the Dreamfire dragon, who will end up being the dragon that Aegon's gonna ride. and Rhaenyra is the one alongside Otto that goes and retrieves the egg. And in the same manner, she parks her dragon and walks through from one side of the bridge to another through Otto and gets the dragon egg and retrieves it. Oh,
Yep.
in this time is a little bit different. We have Otto. Listen, I'm offering mercy. If you guys surrender, you guys denounce that you're not gonna, want the crown, don't want anything to do with it. We're gonna go ahead and let you guys live, let your kids live. I'm gonna take your 2 kids. We're gonna make one a squire, another one's gonna hold the cup, a cupbearer. So it's gonna be a sweet deal. You guys are gonna get some land. He's like, I'm gonna set you guys up. He's like a real estate guy. He's gonna sell you the best deal possible.
Exactly.
But this is the best deal possible. How can they guarantee that they're not gonna turn around and just completely eliminate them? Because we know that's what Otto really wants.
Yeah, you can't. Obviously, I mean, if they actually did say yes, they would forever be in jeopardy. Both sides would forever be in jeopardy because Rhaenyra's team is just close enough to formulate a plot and maybe usurper, and also Alicent's team can possibly get mad and get rid of him. So this has to be resolved traditional ways. Somebody's got to be eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like it's very interesting how at the moment that Otto finishes talking, he says, "Well, I'm only going to really talk with Rhaenyra about this." Rhaenyra flies with the dragon, similar to the episode 2, lands on the other side, walks across from them,
Yeah,
and lets them know what the business is. But she gave a very different response.
Yeah,
a very different response than what we were expecting her to say. Instead of saying, no, I don't want this, she said, I'll think about it. I'll give you an answer later on. That was very interesting. It's going to play on into what's going to happen at the end of the episode as well. Do you think that was a smart move for her to?
Absolutely. I think that was so strategic that it went unnoticed, because what does that do? And if she said no, they would have been gun-ho. Let's start this war. Let's get it over with. Bring in everybody. We starting tonight, right? But she says, hold on. Give me a day, which gives them time to plan, and we see what they come up with their plan. We'll get into it later, but it gives them more time to put a plan together and be ready to take on this fight. So I think that strategy was amazing. But your boy Daemon wasn't happy about it. What are your thoughts, Lion?
So yeah, from that scene, once she decides she's gonna think about it, we have an argument or a discussion between Rhaenyra and Daemon. They're talking by a fire pit, and she's considering, just like my father, we gotta think of peace. We're gonna have a united kingdom. I don't want to destroy the kingdom. Blah blah blah. Think about the Song of Ice and Fire, and when she mentions that to Daemon, he never heard of it, and she finds that to be weird. He also chokes her in this moment. We see his mental state. Yeah. Daemon is ready for war. He wants to fight. He's craving this fight, and all he wants is Rhaenyra to say, "Let's go, let's do this." He's just waiting for that match. Rhaenyra says, "You know what? It's not gonna be by my hand that this war is gonna start." They will have to basically throw the first stone. What do you think of that scene and the mental state of Daemon in that particular moment to go as far as choking his wife in that scene?
I think that he crossed the line. One, within the marriage, but two, within the royal throne, right? You never lay hands on the queen, even to this day. And now with King Charles, you can't extend your hand out to shake the king's hand unless they do it first, right? Like, you can't touch them. I'm royalty now. Back up. Even though you're the king, I run this. Back up. So yeah, he violates that, and she still handles it well with authority. And then she also shows him through example why he's making the wrong decision and why her decision is right. And I think he sees that finally later on, not initially, but later on. And the fact that what were your thoughts on what she said about her father's dream and that Daemon never heard about it? What were your thoughts on that?
So that, I'm glad you bring that point up, because I was gonna bring that up right after that. So I think there was some kind of jealousy that came into play in this scene, because Daemon, he always wanted to be king or be in that position that Rhaenyra is, although he's been very benevolent and not fight her for it and kind of support her through it, but he wants to be the one having the final word, making all the decisions. When he chokes her, he's like, it's like his inability to just for her to say yes, let's go and do this because I know what's right. You don't know this. I am older than you. I am wiser than you. I'm ready for this war. We're gonna win, etc., etc. And then she throws back she speaks about the Song of Ice and Fire, and it goes over his head. You have to remember at the beginning of the season, he was the heir to the throne before Rhaenyra was named. So, but Viserys never told that story to him. So that lets you to think that Viserys never really fully was okay with Daemon inheriting the throne. Because as soon as Rhaenyra was named, the first thing he did was tell about the Song of Ice and Fire. So I think some kind of jealousy was involved in that scene. That's my opinion on it. Do you think I'm off of base? You think that's more of an accurate assessment there?
I think after she brought it up, for sure. Like, I think he thought that he was in control, and then once she brought it up, he was like totally caught off guard, completely sandbagged, and had no instinct on how to react, which is why he left the room. I think that was big. It's like, hey, I got more information than you. I'm doing calculus. You're doing arithmetic. Move on.
And he showed more of his villain character. Like, he looked like a villain in that moment. The how vicious he was, how he held her, how he put his hand on her. He went from and he's been the darling of the internet. Daemon is being adored throughout the internet with the whole situation between the love story between him and Rhaenyra. I wonder how the internet is gonna react at seeing them at odds in that particular moment. I've seen this nasty side of him going so far as to put hands on his wife. There's gonna be interesting conversation on the web. Now we finally get to see our boy Corlys Velaryon, who's been absent for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Corlys
finally shows up.
What up? What do you think, Corlys?
He wakes up in Dragonstone. He's looking better, so I think he's gonna survive based on what we saw in this episode. And funny enough, in this scene, we're expecting him to be the one. Yeah, let's go to war. Let's go to let's join with Rhaenyra. Let's go for glory. Let's go for legacy. That's what we do. That's what my house wants. But Rhaenys lets the news down. So we have a new king. There's a dispute on the throne. Our grandkids are involved, and your brother is dead because Daemon killed him. All this news all at once, and he goes, "You know what? Man, Rhaenyra has ruined our family. We lost our kids because of her. My brother's been very." What do you think was going through his head at that particular moment? Waking up from being sick and getting all of that in news all at once.
The guy just died. Like the guy saw death. He went through war, and he nearly died. Right? He almost not he just died. He almost just died. Right? So he don't want no more. He's like, hey, whatever time I got left, I want to live it in peace. Forget all this other stuff. It's whatever. Like, y'all could go ahead and go at each other's necks. I'm good. Let's get away and enjoy the rest of our time. But he can't do that. And Rhaenys explains why. Rhaenys says, of all the fights that you've run to and chosen to get in, this is the correct one to be in right now.
No, he seemed defeated. He seemed defeated. Yeah. The funny enough, Rhaenys have been like, I'm gonna be neutral. I'll let Corlys decide. Her choice of words was to push him to agree to protect and help with Rhaenyra. That's basically, she was the one. Listen, our grandkids are gonna be involved, this and that. I think as a good woman does, she was the voice of reason in his ear and moved him to kind of join up in the war council.
Absolutely.
You see here, that takes us to the next scene where Corlys, with his cane, with his pimp cane, he walks into the council. Everybody looks excited, like, oh my god, the Velaryon army or the naval fleet is gonna be with us. And Corlys questions the decisions that they are making at that particular moment. Though when he's finally convinced, because there was a very cool exchange of words between him and Rhaenyra. Where he says, yeah, you're also sworn to our house. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess you got some fire to spit back. he decides to align with her. And not just that, listen, because I kind of already knew what I was gonna do. We have a blockade in the Narrow Sea, so I already started moving some things. We can take King's Landing. Corlys was ahead of the game. I mean, he seems like the hero of the episode in a small way. Did you agree?
Yeah, I would say catalyst because Rhaenyra was in search of a strategy other than let's go to war, and Corlys brought a major part to a bigger picture, a bigger strategy, which was the blockade and to strangle out the
Aegon.
Aegon.
King's Landing, Aegon, correct.
King's Landing. That's what I was looking for. King's Landing, which now this is war games. This is strategy. You know, Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu, war or whatever. This is strategy. This is what you want to do, as opposed to losing citizens. And because even if you take over, they're going to hate you and want you out because you know your war caused their deaths in their family, so on and so forth. This is a good strategy, and then it snowballs from there. Let's get more people on board, which that is an interesting concept. That goes a different way than expected.
No, certainly, and I think you're right. You know, he gave them some hope because he tells them, listen, you don't have a lot of men. You don't have a lot of soldiers. Well, we're gonna talk to these houses. What guarantees do you have they're gonna align with you? We saw what happened with the Stormlands. We don't know where that guy stands, and he ain't having a plan. Listen, I cut out the Narrow Sea. With this plan, we can kind of choke out the King's Landing, and the kingdom will be yours. This could be a winning strategy for them. So they see some hope in the future. Plus, adding the different dragons they have, I mean, I think they have a pretty good chance, especially if they can convince some of the other kingdoms to help. So this takes us to the next scene where everybody's deciding, okay, so let's send some ravens out, but time is against them because we know that Otto and his people are going to start moving fairly quickly. Yeah. And this is where the princess volunteered to fly their dragons to different locations. We finally hear about Cregan Stark, who's the patriarch of House Stark. We hear about the situation with the Lord of the Stormlands. So what we have here, Dash has a comment.
I'm not sure. What are your thoughts, Lion?
Why was Daemon singing to the dragon? What's going on? You know what? I had the same question. Like, why is Daemon singing to the dragon? That was a very odd scene.
Was that his dragon?
I believe that was Caraxes. That was his dragon. I believe so. Because when he sing to him, if you look at his eyes, I was kind of like merging and waiting. I think it's maybe showing how much he craves the fight, how much he's waiting to do something. Maybe that's what it meant.
Or maybe because what happened after that, right? What scene was that? Before or after the son goes to the other kingdom?
I think I have it here. Let's see.
Did Caraxes know that it lost a brother, like another dragon brother? Maybe that was it. I don't know.
I think I have it here in one of the scenes.
How did Daemon get the information so quickly?
Yeah, that's right after this scene. That's after the kids depart. Daemon is what we see Daemon singing.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't get that at all. Like that one was sort of like, I don't know. Maybe he was getting them ready for war. It wasn't clear. It wasn't apparent to me.
But going back to the original point, one thing that I really wanted to see was more involvement of the House Stark, which we really haven't seen much. We probably saw a couple of scenes where they mentioned them, right? But now the North is important. The North is huge. The North has a big army that can change things.
Well, for me, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, that was like the first time I heard Stark. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they're in this. It's like, it's like Stark, yes. And it was, man, they totally neglected. Hopefully they play a bigger role in the second season. We'll see.
They will. So based on what I read, the Starks play a huge part in the story in the Dance of Dragons. So I know in the next season they have, I mean, the way they're going, they have to feature them, and they play a very important part, and this makes this house legendary in essence. So we're gonna see a lot of that in the next season. Sadly, not in this season. And we see that, Jacaerys, which is the oldest, the one that's gonna be heir, if Rhaenyra was to pass, is the one that is sent to Kragenstar, because that's gonna be the more important ally. He's actually going to two locations. He's
Hmm.
gonna two different
Yeah.
locations to be able to. I believe it was the Riverlands and the Starks, which are gonna be able to help turn the tides for them, while Lucerys is being sent to the Stormlands to remind Boros Baratheon of his father's oath. If you think
Proud
back,
man.
episode 2 and 3, his father was the lord that was always with Rhaenyra, kind of as a councilman. He was very loyal to Rhaenyra. At this
Hmm.
time, this guy has passed. His son, since Lacey, doesn't seem like
Yep.
he's all
Entitled.
about being
Entitled.
honorable, and he's looking for what's in it for me, in essence. So that's when we see the two princes depart. And from that scene, we have Lucerys after Daemon sings the dragon. Lucerys arrives at the Storm's End, which is pretty cool. We see the Storm's End in all of its glory. I don't think when Game of Thrones happened, we really got to see a lot of a Storm's End, if any, at all. And a little surprise was waiting there. Aemon Targaryen and Vagar, his dragon, were waiting for him there. We see Prince Lucerys get out of his dragon. We see just this gigantic beast poke his head out, and
Yo,
that's gonna be scary. Just in
yo,
that
dog.
particular moment, what do you think? How would you feel that particular moment?
It reminds me of a scene from an album. Uh, Yo, yo, dog. What's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6? Jay-Z line is like, yeah, my dragon's a lot bigger than your dragon. Maybe you should go home right now. Like, seriously, forget about delivering the message. It's not going to go well for you.
Maybe it's
Um,
good he's inexperienced.
it, it's just, it was a bad idea. You see the dragon there, you're not winning this fight. Like, you're not, there's nothing. You got it strategically. There is a king already on the throne, and they got there before you. So there was one, there's already power, already someone that has a power, and two, what you call it, they already made some type of deal because they didn't know one, and they didn't know that you were coming, and is a get down and lay down type of situation, really. So, are you able to hear me still?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like a get down and lay down type situation, basically. So he should have gone home, but he didn't. What are your thoughts, Lion?
Yeah, at that moment when he saw that dragon, he should have gone, because I think he stuck to his inexperience as someone, how insecure he is in regards to these matters. He's too young. We got to think about, he's the
Exactly.
youngest. He's a middle kid of Rhaenyra, and this is a situation that I don't think he was expecting. I think we have to refresh. You may want to refresh. I think you froze in place.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's okay. We're gonna have Mystery come back here in just a second. So yeah, just going back to that point, I think this speaks to his inexperience. He's always being insecure. You see him when he was pairing with his brother, falling down to the sword. We see at the beginning of the episode questioning his position in regards to being Lord of the Tides. He doesn't feel like he earned it, like he has like an imposter syndrome, in a way. And when he arrives there, as soon as he sees that dragon, if it was me, I would do a U-turn and I'm out of there. That is the first thing you want to do. You do not want to face the guy the one-eyed guy that you took his eye and has the biggest dragon, and he has a vendetta. He's looking to get revenge on you. At that moment, you have to go. You have to pick up and go. Let me know in the comments, in the chat. Do you think he should have gone right away? Like, let me just do a U-turn, V-line out of here before Damon season? Or was it a good idea for him to stay and still fulfill his duty? I would have just given the note to one of the guards and like, I'm out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And wow, when we saw Damon as well, I think I have a little image here of Damon. That was very interesting to see his face without the eye patch. He truly looks like a villain. He truly looks like a maniac with that sapphire eye, which is classic from the drawings in the book. So you see him remove his eye patch because he already promised to Boros Baratheon to marry one of his daughters. Boros tells Lucerys, "What are you offering me? You're coming empty-handed, and you're handing me a note telling me what to do in my home." So Boros is not feeling it. So Lucerys needs to get out of there. It's at this moment, Aemon wants revenge, and he wants payment back for his eye. He takes the eye patch out, and this looks creepy, and he looks like a psychopath at that particular moment. And this is when Lucerys is like, I just need to get out of here. He realized at that moment that he messed up, that he needs to go. Oh man, that what a moment in the show. I have to confess because I have read that this is gonna happen in the show, but see here we have a comment. Yeah, he had to know it was Vhagar because this Vhagar at that particular moment, Vhagar is the biggest dragon out of all of them. He's the biggest and oldest. So no other dragon is that size. They're all gonna be more of a melee size, maybe a little bit smaller. And Vhagar is just gigantic. It dwarfs all of the dragons. Like this, a dragon looked like a little pony, like a little dog, compared to Araxes looks like a pony compared to Vhagar. Let me see here. I think Mr. E we need the code, the link again. Bear with me, guys. We just lost connection. That's what it was. All right, we're gonna send the link again. And Mr. E is back. There we go.
Yo,
So yeah, he had to have known. I mean, just by the knowledge of the dragons, he had to have known that that was Vhagar because that thing looked like a dinosaur. It reminded me of those dinosaur cartoons I used to watch when I was a kid. Those I don't know what the long neck dinosaur name is.
I knew it
What
was
we
bigger.
call it?
Yeah,
Stegosaurus or something like that. One of those long neck things. That's what it looked like. I think it was massive, and that was his mistake. He should have left. We were talking before when you came back about Voros denying or telling the kid, "You coming here empty-handed? He already promised to marry one of
yeah,
my daughters. What are you? What's in it for me? What's in it for me, man?" Like Voros, I think I have an image of Voros as well.
yeah.
Let me put
I
him
mean,
here.
and that's inexperience because he could have lied and say, "Hey, I'll marry your daughter." I'll
So
take
you
the
can't
kid.
lie in that particular moment. You gotta do this honor here. And if he lies, as soon as Boros finds out that he's already betrothed to somebody else.
I mean, listen, things changed. I'm betrothed to you now. You have my word. Blah blah blah. They win the kingdom, and then it's like, no, sorry, overruled. These type of things happen all the time in this type of situation. Look at, look at what was it? The Damon's daughters, right? Weren't they promised to two different people?
Well, no, Daemon's daughters are promised to Lucerys and Jacaerys, so
But
that
weren't
they're
they promised to somebody else beforehand, or somebody
no.
was, and then they got redone? But either way, in medieval times, people got betrothed multiple times, depending upon where the power shift was. So,
But you have to
uh,
realize that the unity between the Velaryon and Targaryen house is more important than the Baratheon and the Targaryen houses. So
right?
if you would have, let's say, forget about his betrothed, then you lose the ships, you lose the Velaryon fleet. That's gonna cause conflict. That you automatically lose the war. So
Hey, you're right.
you
I'll
gotta
give
be
you that.
on that.
He should have gone home. And Dash is saying it's mom's fault for sending him. Yeah, I think it was like a need situation where she needed to take that chance, knowing that it could go terribly wrong, but she needed to take that chance, and maybe she didn't think that they would send the other dragon. So yeah, maybe it was an underestimation. What are your thoughts, Lion?
Yes, just I completely agree with Dash Redbrook. This would have been another red wedding, because if you lie to one of those houses, I mean, look at what happened to Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. He told Walter Frey that he couldn't marry his daughter because he was already betrothed. So he was already promised. Then he changed his mind, marry somebody else. No, you can marry my uncle. And Walter Frey made a deal with the Lannisters, and they almost decimated the Stark family. That was a brutal moment in TV.
That's a good point.
And you gotta look at Boros. Boros was like a very corrupt guy. He's not honorable at all. He's
Yeah,
he's just doesn't look like a very stand-up guy. Look at him sitting there. He's
not
even
worth.
like kind of like leaning back, like he doesn't seem like a guy that commands a lot of confidence in his loyalty.
Not
So
worth the hassle. I get it. Yeah, no, it's a good point, Dash. Really good point. So yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe he should have stayed, and maybe he should have not gone in. And if he did, short and sweet, and then leave out. I don't know what his thought process was, but as we saw, things didn't go well at all afterwards. Where
for what
he,
happened
after he
there,
left, yeah, it's
he
all
got
good.
booted out.
It's all good. I was moving into the next section where we see him leave.
Amon,
Yeah, exactly. You see him leave, and then you see that we finally get to see a dragon match. Was that our first dragon fight scene that we
yeah,
had all season? It was pretty nice.
that was the first dragon on dragon crime that we seen in the whole show. Because we seen dragons just decimate everybody. We seen dragon versus dragon in Game of Thrones, not like a dead dragon versus a live dragon. But in
I
this
mean, how
case,
cool was that scene, though? How cool was that scene? The way they set it up, where I forget the bigger dragon, he just flies overhead, and you don't even know it.
it's like a Top Gun moment, like flying those planes, right? So we had a John Lucerys tells his dragon, "Listen, you need to focus and you need to obey. You need to listen to me, and let's get out of here." And for
Yep.
a moment, you think he made it out, and what happens? He did
Shouldn't have
not.
engaged. Yeah, he should not have engaged because that dragon took over after that point. And, that bigger dragon is like, I'm not playing with you.
I gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. Again,
He did well.
he did better than I thought.
Yeah.
And this is the whole theme of this episode: fire and blood. What happens when he's able to someone get away from
In that
Vhagar?
order, that
He
situation.
burns the face of Vhagar. Maybe he burned the eye, matching the eye that Aemon has, right?
Yeah.
He burns the eye, and he thinks he got away with it. And out of nowhere, Vhagar comes in and bites down Arax right where the mouse is, and that was it. Game over.
Again, inexperienced because, dude, if in that particular environment, that situation, he had the ability to disappear completely. He went down into the caves or the valley, right? And the bigger dragon Vhagar couldn't get in there, and then he went up above the clouds. It was perfect. Like he could have disappeared, but by him swooping back around and blasting him in the face, Vhagar then knew the other dragon's position, and he knew he wasn't too far away. So that's, and also he motivated him to eat the other dragon alive. So they, again, inexperienced. Just get away. Fight another day. You're good.
And you
What
know
are your thoughts, Mike? Go ahead.
what was interesting? The face that Aemon makes, because Aemon, I think he wasn't looking. I think he was just trying to bully his nephew. He
You're right.
wanted to scare him in a way, and he didn't realize he lost control of Vhagar, and Vhagar ends up biting him down and just eliminating this Lucerys and Arax and one like that. You see how massive that bite was? He bit once, cutting in multiple pieces, and that was it. He went quick, he went silent, and Aemon's face is like, "Oh man, I just messed up." Because by doing that, this is the reason why Rhaenyra is not gonna fight. Because Rhaenyra, think about it, Rhaenyra was considering not getting involved and not getting into the fight, and maybe having a peaceful surrender. But now, on that next scene, when she learns about what happens, she goes from a peaceful face, mourning face, to really getting angry and upset.
And
at
how
what
did they
happened.
find out so early? How did she find out so quickly? What are your thoughts on that?
I want to say a raven from House from House Baratheon. This has to be some way. I mean, I don't think they're gonna explain it. They're gonna go into that much detail because this is the face that Rhaenyra makes after she learns. She goes from a very peaceful face to meeting the same attitude that Damon had throughout the whole episode. Again, that same team of fire and blood. We had fire in the face of Vhagar, blood when Vhagar bites down on Lucerys, and then fire again when Rhaenyra learns that her own blood has been spilled. She's right by the fireplace, turns back, a completely changed person. Great moment on TV, I think. Great acting on the part of Emma D'Arcy. What do you think of that scene there?
No, and shoot, poetically put, I agree with you. And Dash did the dragon fire on him on his own. I
think Lucerys did it on purpose.
Lucerys, exactly. I thought it was Lucerys because he doubled back. Remember, Lucerys was ahead, and then he swooped down and came back and across Vhagar. So I think that was the intent. That's at least the way that it seemed to me.
And he could have gotten away because Vhagar had lost sight of him, and he went back for more, and he burned the face.
Yeah, you're outmatching that point. Sorry, Lion. Go ahead.
If you think deeper into this is similar to what happened when Aemon lost his eye. They could have stopped the fighting with the kid, and they kept going to the point that Lucerys raises the stakes with a weapon that causes Aemon to lose his eye.
Yeah.
And this time again, he uses a weapon, fire, that may have caused the eye of Vhagar or some kind of damage. He has to cause some kind of damage to Vhagar. And what happens this time, there was nobody to stop the fight. There was nobody to help him. And Aemon took vengeance. Aemon has become the biggest villain now because of these actions. And this is why I'm Team Green. Team Green, with a guy like that, I think he's gonna take out a lot of the black members before anything happens. What do you think, Mr. There?
I'm Team Black all day, man. Wesley Snipes always bet on Black.
I don't know. You might lose. You gotta be losing.
They got more dragons. They got more dragons, and if they could get at least 2 of the other kingdoms, then I think we got a good chance.
This is why I'm Team Green, because if you look at it, although Team Black may only have 4 dragons, 3-4 dragons, Baela and Rhaena may have a dragon, and Moondancer is a small dragon. They're not fully grown. Then you have Daemon and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is not going to be necessarily at the front lines all the time. She needs to be protected because she's the queen, and Daemon's probably going to be the main protector. You might see Daemon here and there. And even Daemon, his dragon is not as big as Vhagar. Vhagar is going to be one that's going to destroy a lot of them before he goes down.
It's not about the size of the dragon. It's how you use it. That's the only thing that matters.
If that's what you keep hearing and that's what makes you feel good, go ahead with it. That dragon spit fire. What are the top 5 dragons of all time? Vhagar, and Vhagar.
It should have been called Dylon.
Should have been called Daemon.
That's been hot fire.
It's been hot fire. Look at that. Spit hot fire. Man, what a moment. Now, Mr. What do you predict for the next season? What would you expect to see in that first episode when we come back? Do we pick up right at that time? We don't do like a time skip, or we pick it up later on? What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're facing off. Their first initial strike or active malice is happening. They already assembled.
Who's attacking who? The first episode. We get the first episode, season 2. Like, who's attacking who? What are we seeing in your opinion?
Rhaenyra, all day.
What is she doing?
They eliminated her son. Rhaenyra and Team Black are on the hunt. They're on the what is it? They're being aggressive, and they are doing some type of action against Team Green to let them know it's coming. I think that's where we're at. What are your thoughts, Lion?
I think we're gonna see an eye for an eye moment. I don't think it's gonna be against. I don't think they can take down Aemon in the first episode or second season, but somebody's going down. There's another kid that Alicent has that they didn't show in the show. I think he's called Maelor, if I'm not mistaken. Maelor or Magar, something along those lines. And the writer said he wasn't shown because there was not enough time in the show to bring him in. He's supposed to be hiding out in Old Town where the High Tower rules, right? So maybe they're gonna take him out next season. They might take somebody out from their family. I think that's gonna be an eye for an eye situation.
that would be an easy target. Why not? But yeah, I think they're in the beginning of next season. They're lining up and doing something just to put Team Green on notice that this it's on. Bottom line, it's on. So I think that's where we start. Hopefully, hopefully we don't need to do any more character building or anything like that. We're good.
We're gonna have a whole new set of characters. Because one interesting thing, we didn't see Allison in this episode. Like I have mentioned, this was the last episode. Last episode we saw Allison. We didn't see Kristen Cole in this episode. So it's gonna be interesting to see when the show comes back where these characters are. Is Kristen Cole, Sir Larry's I Love Feet Strong. What's gonna be going on there? Allison. What's gonna happen with Aegon? Aegon corrupted by power.
I would like to. I would like to correct that name. Is Sir Larys? Show me those feet.
No, for real. I know I got some people upset with a meme that I made. I made a meme of Sir Larry Strong. You know that guy that's opportunistic, just shaking his hands.
Yeah,
I put Larry's face on it. It's on one of the shows. You guys can check it out on the channel. By the way, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for checking out our video. Don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment. You can subscribe, share it with your friends, help our channel grow. Thank you so much for checking out our video. We have a poll as well in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and close out the poll. Let me see what the results are on that poll. Let's see if I have it here.
Drum roll, please. No, I was messing with you.
All right. So the question was, did Rhaenyra made a mistake by sending her sons to meet with the different houses? See, 40% of you said yes, she made a mistake. 60% of you said no. So it was fairly close to split. So, where do you land on that, Mystery?
Had to be done. It's unfortunate. Lives have got to be sacrificed, and that's just the way it goes. Not a mistake.
I also want to ask you guys in the chat, what did you guys rate this episode from 1 to 10? 5 is above average. Anything below 5 is terrible. So what do you guys rate? Just put it in the chat. Put a number. I do believe we have a comment from Dash Riprock as well.
Great point, Dash. Why not? I mean,
should have let Daemon kill Otto. They're still going to war and the kids will still be alive. That's true, but at that moment, Rhaenyra was that letter that Alicent sent kind of strung her heartstrings. Remembering that friendship they had, because the previous meeting they had, they were making peace, and this came all so sudden. And they tried to remain honorable and not destroy the realm. But even if they would have killed Otto, I think they would have. It was gonna go down regardless.
Yeah. I'm with Dash, man. 2 times. Come on.
2 opportunities. They could have taken that out.
2 opportunities. Fire on one of them. Come on, man. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm with you, Dash. I mean,
that's 2 opportunities.
I don't even like Otto. Like, go ahead, take him out. Just take him. We're going to war anyhow, so just go ahead and do it. That'll at least make you feel better, even if you lose. Like, well, I got Otto. I never liked that guy anyhow. So come on.
Dash says he gives it a 10 for the dragon fight and Daemon singing. The dragon fight was the coolest moment because I don't think we have seen anything like that in the series yet. So yeah, the dragon fight was the best moment of the episode.
Agreed.
Mystery, what do you rate this episode? Let me know.
I give it a 10. A 10. Yeah, it was a great episode. I don't like the way that thing ended, and not the fact that Liz Harris allegedly lost his life. It's the fact that it was just like that. It just ended so abruptly. What are your thoughts, Lion?
Conflicted, because I guess I have my hopes really high for this episode. Some of because the episode, let's talk about this. The episode leaked early. Someone on the internet, I guess, I believe from the Middle East, have leaked the episode.
I gave you my email address. Why didn't I get a copy? Sorry.
But you know what? One thing I want to say about that is I don't see the point of leaking these episodes early, because the point of waiting,
This is on Sunday.
watch it with everybody. So it feels like a communal thing that everyone's doing. We have over 30 million people watching this show, essentially close to the same time, with the same time frame. It's a callback to the old days when TV shows were at a particular time, and you had to wait to watch at a particular time. It's
Which
not
is
something
ridiculous.
that you can
We're
watch on
past that
demand
now.
anytime.
We're
How
better
rid-
than that now, Lion. We're better. Go ahead.
Leaking the episode and having spoilers on the internet kind of ruins a lot of stuff
It's
for
way
people.
better. It's way
I
better.
already had knowledge that Lucero was gonna go down. I wasn't expecting it this soon, but I saw some spoilers, like some titles, like it kind of like annoys me. So it kind of brought my excitement for the episode slightly down. I'm gonna give this episode an 8.5. That's
Oh
what
my
I'm gonna
God.
give it, and that's because my expectations were kind of ruined with some of
Somebody
the leaks.
Call the
That's what it
cops.
is.
House of Dragons has been robbed by the lion.
Not by me. I wasn't robbed by a lion. Like,
8.1 is a robbery. This is a great
8.5 is
episode.
not bad, man. It's not-
8.5, it's a great episode. At least a 9.
The dragon scene, I think, did it for me, but I think that's what bring it to an 8.5, maybe a 9, depends on how I'm feeling. But the whole thing, I wanted more. I think I wanted more. I think the last episode was much leaps and bounds better, in my opinion. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about it, at least. Now, from what I understand, they're shooting the season starting in March. For next season. So whether I don't know how fast they're gonna work on that, how soon. I normally it takes like 3 or 4 months to shoot series this complex and this big. I don't foresee us getting a show next year. That would be wonderful if we do. If we get like maybe
always be
September,
foundation.
October. But I'm thinking April. That's April 2024 is when we might see the show back. But we also have a lot of content coming for you guys this next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Black Adam live stream coming this week,
Yep.
maybe Monday, right?
Exactly. And you know what? When Wakanda comes out, I'm reviewing that too.
Wakanda's gonna be on it. We
Yes.
we need to talk about the newest trailer. We'll probably do that this week as well if we have time.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
We talk about because the latest Wakanda Forever trailer looked very interesting. There's a lot of Easter eggs. I have some theories that I want to share with you guys because everybody's debating who's the Black Panther, who's the Black Panther. I think they might have a little bit of swerve into what they're doing with the Black Panther
Guys, have a
characters.
secret. I'm the Black
So
Panther. Go ahead.
don't oh, you ruined it. Marvel's
supposed to
coming
tell.
for you. You're supposed to tell them. So we have the Black Adam live review tomorrow night. So check us out for that. We're gonna be doing a Halloween stream as well, talking about some of the some of the horror movies of our youth. Talking about maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, the original
That-
Friday the 13th. We have
Yeah.
the Jasons. It's gonna be cool. Like I remember watching those movies as a kid. I mean, completely frightening. I don't think we get that same flavor nowadays. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
It
But I
makes
really haven't found
Good
it.
comedy nowadays.
That's what it is. Because it's so stupid. Some of these movies are so stupid in regards to how you know that's gonna happen. Why were you going to that empty room?
Maybe we
Come
should.
on.
We. Yeah. I was
Why?
gonna say something else, but I'll leave it alone. But yeah, don't go in the empty room, and don't go into the barn with all the axes and chainsaws and stuff like that. Leave it alone.
So we're gonna have those streams coming, and then we're gonna have we're still planning our 1 year anniversary stream. We definitely gotta ink that date. But we might have a special guest for the Black Adam stream. The Cowboy's been wanting to join us for that, so he might be showing up as well.
Word, go.
Any messages you have, Mr. E? Anything you want to let the people know?
Lewis Hamilton, F1 Formula One champion 2023 next year. That's all I got. What about you, Lion?
No, check us out. I'm also starting to do some gaming content. I'll be having some more information on that for you guys. If you guys into gaming, let me know. We have a lot of stuff coming your way, guys. We're gonna be looking at another show that we're gonna be reviewing. I also want to thank Elliot from Movie Files for hosting me again last week.
Big shout out.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, your platform. Those great reviews. We talked about House of Dragon for about an hour. It was very long live stream, so that was a lot of fun as well last week. So check him out, Movie Files' channel. There's a lot of great content as well.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we
This
appreciate it,
Dash,
Dash.
you're great. You are the man. Thank you so much, everyone checking us out.
Seriously.
Chopper Color Blog. We have Dash Rib and some of the other familiar
Yeah,
faces that always
yeah,
check us out. If you're in the
yeah.
chat, we appreciate you as well.
I'll say
Mystery, how
this.
about you take it on?
Yeah, I'll say this. Going live was the next step for us, and you never know what to expect, and it can be scary because of the uncertainty. So you guys' presence, Dash, Sharper Coder Blog, and everybody else that has been on here, we appreciate it greatly. It's been fun. We love it. We're going to do more live streams for sure, but until
You
the
guys
next
made
time.
it easy. You guys made
Yeah,
it easy.
for real.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Seriously. But until the next time, we're going to sign off. I'm E, and this is Lion, and we are.
On structure.
That's right.